Hey internet, so sorry the lighting is so horrible, but today I wanted to film a makeup video. I've been working on it for quite a while and it's an eyeshadow video. Basically, I used to absolutely suck at doing eyeshadow, and then I kind of just watched heaps of YouTube videos and bought a bunch of palettes and brushes and practiced, and now I just really enjoy doing it. And people always ask me, how do you do it? And say they suck and stuff, and I want to be like, that was me until I watch some videos. So basically I wanted to do 3 different looks. The first is just a block color that's like a really standout-y color. The second one is like a subtle transition of colors, and the third is a smoky eye. I'm absolutely obsessed with eyeshadow palettes and would buy them all if I could. But in these videos, I mainly use my Morphe palettes. It's a really good brand, and for what you pay, you get a lot for your money. There's just so many different colors and they're all beautiful. But if you're just starting out, don't think that you need to go out and buy a really expensive palette and brushes and all that jazz. Start out with a simple eyeshadow palette with some basic colors. I got my mum this really cute little Too Faced Natural Matte palette for her birthday or Christmas or something, and it just has some really basic colors but really good colors. I just think it's a really good little starting palette. Invest in some good brushes for sure. Go for the fluffier ones to blend in your crease. And to be honest, I always find it easier using my finger to put the really intense colors on because the pigment just shows better and it just looks better. The way I do my eyeshadow, I do my whole face of makeup first, which some people don't do. You don't have to do it that way. I just think if I do my eye first, it looks really weird with the rest of my face. It looks like someone's like stuck my face over the top, if that makes sense. So here is my first look. This eyeshadow look is really simple. It's just one color. It's very pigmented and it's kind of a standout look. So first off, your biggest must-have is an eyeshadow primer. This just honestly keeps the eyeshadow on for so much longer. It makes it more pigmented, it sticks better to your eyelid, and it's just such a lifesaver. I went so long without using this and I was kind of like, what am I doing wrong with the eyeshadow? I'm not good at eyeshadow. As soon as I started using this, it made such a difference, and I just would definitely recommend this. So just start by placing a tiny, literally tiniest little dab on your eyelid. You should be able to feel how wet or creamy your eyelid is. Oh, that sounds gross. To gauge if you need more or less. This one is just a collection one. There's also a really good Urban Decay one, but it's more pricey. Next up, I always put a tiny bit of concealer on my eyelids. The one I use is the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind. It's the little eraser pen thing. I just find it really easy to dab on my eyelid, and then I blend it in with my beauty blender. I'm going to be using my Morphe palette. It's the 35F one. I think it's called Into the Frost. I have done a swatches video on this, but the colors look like this. I'm also going to be using another Morphe palette, which is 35O. I think it's Natural Shimmer. And all I'm going to be using in this palette is the white and yellow colors up the top. Basically, if you either find a whitey or creamy matte eyeshadow, or sometimes I even just use my Stay Matte powder. And this is just used as a base powder to kind of set your concealer on your eyelids and get a starting color so that your eyeshadow isn't the first powder you use, if that makes sense. So I use my MAC, can't remember the brush name, I'll link it in the description, but it's the blendy one that like everyone raves about. So I'll use this to just dab the creamy kind of matte color onto my eyelid as the base. And then for this look, I literally use my finger. I'm gonna dab it into this really pigmented, kind of bronzy, orangey, glittery color, which is beautiful. And I'm gonna just dab that straight on with my finger in kind of like little clumps around the main part of my eye towards the lash line. Then I'm gonna grab my Morphe blending brush, which is the G24, and I'm just gonna blend the color out a little bit into the crease. And then if you need to add any more kind of pigment bit to the inner part of your eye, then do so. You want the inner bit to be the most pigmented and the outer to just be very faint. Then I grab my MAC brush again and I just pop a tiny bit of highlight right below my brow. This kind of just separates your brow and your eyelid and kind of gives it more of a definition. I'm not a professional, so sorry if that's the wrong terminology. And then I go ahead and just do my eyeliner and mascara. You don't have to do your eyeliner as thick as mine. I went crazy tonight. But this is the finished product. So that is my first eyeshadow look, which is super simple and you can do so quickly. And you can also use any color, any palette, as long as you have that creamy base and a really standout-y color of your choice, then go for it. number two. This is more of a kind of subtle transition of colors. I went for the orangey shades because the top I'm wearing has a bit of orange in it, and I just love these orangey shades in this particular Morphe palette. This time I used the 35-0, the natural shimmer, and I just did the exact same thing as I did last time, where I did all my makeup except for my eyes, and I'd already done my primer, concealer, and powder on my eyelids before I started. I started off using my Morphe G24 brush, and I blended a very light shade of orange into my crease and along my eyelid. I then took a slightly darker shade of orange and did the same kind of around and on top. Then I grabbed my Morphe B81, which is a very fluffy kind of thick brush, which I always use to dab a dark color into the corner of my eye, the outer corner. And you can also use this brush when you're doing a smoky eye for a darker color. As this was just a subtle kind of color transition, it was only a slight bit darker than the previous shade of orange I'd used. And then I decided to get kind of some whitey beige colors in the very inner corner of my eye to make it kind of look a bit matte and creamy, and I really like the outcome. Then I grabbed my highlighter and just did under my brow again. Instead of doing eyeliner this time, I went for a very dark shade of brown with my eyebrow brush, and it's like a really mini brush on the other side. So I used the mini brush to do a little bit of a dark line on the outer corner of my lash line. So it looks a bit like my eyes are lined, but I haven't gone crazy with the eyeliner. Sometimes I just feel like my eyeliner ruins the eyeshadow and it takes it away from it. So this is my third look, and it is the smoky eye. I could obviously make it a lot smokier, a lot darker. You can do it with so many different colors, but I've gone for a goldie look today. Like my other makeup looks, I firstly do all my makeup except for my eyes. Then I do my primer, concealer, and my powder. Then I'm going to take my Morphe G24 and blend a very light shade of gold into my eye. I'm going to just dab this all over the lid, including the inner corner, the outer corner, just all over. After I've done that very lightly on both eyes, I'm going to grab a slightly darker shade of gold and rub that into my crease. Sounds a bit dirty. You'll start to notice a very slight color difference, and this slightly darker shade of gold kind of gives your eyes a bit more of a definition. Then I'm going to grab my Morphe B81, the fluffy brush, and get a very dark shade of gold. This one's a more kind of a browny shimmery color. I'm just going to pat this on the outer corners. This one I'm not going to blend because with a smoky eye you want that darkness on the outer corner. I know it's not your traditional smoky eye, but I do love the kind of goldy pinky smoky eyes rather than the classic silvery black kind of ones. Then I'm going to get a very light shimmery gold on my finger and just pat that on the inner corner to give it a bit more of a pop, and ever so slightly in the middle of my eye I'm gonna just blend that new goldy shimmery into the darker colors so it blends into each other. Then I'll go ahead and do my highlighter below my brow, and I've bought this new Maybelline Hyper Sharp Wing eyeliner, and apparently instead of just being a felt tip they're individual hairs. Today I tried it with sticky tape to do the flicky wing, and this is how it turned out. Of course I'll use my trusty Maybelline Lash Sensational. And that is my third look, which is the smoky eye. So they are all my eyeshadow looks. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up if you did, and make sure you subscribe. Let me know in the comments if you want to see any other eyeshadow looks or any other makeup looks, because I really enjoy doing these kind of videos. Thank you as always for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!